This episode features a Mercedes-Benz B200 for sale at an auction, and this one is a 2010 model. First of all, let's start with the smart chart, just so we make sure we don't forget anything. When shopping for a car, you need to go through the exterior condition, the engine condition, the interior condition, make a test drive if possible, and then check the mileage. First of all, paint job. Body condition. As always, this should be the most obvious part.
Already I feel there's a gap that isn't usual over here. There's also chips on the bumper as well as scratches. This bumper seems to have been painted at least once in his life. It was black before.
You're looking for inconsistency in paint job. Panels that seems to be lighter or stronger in color than the rest of the car. Luckily, there is a very accurate small cheap device called paint thickness gauge, and it measures how thick the paint is. When you're walking around the car, look for any dings, broken parts, scratches, rust, anything unusual.
That's obvious. I mean, you know. It's still 2010.
Wheels and tires. First of all, look and see if all four tires are the same make and model. Then take a simple penny and insert it in between the tire tread. It will give you a rough estimation on how deep they are. Finally, check the rims for scratches, pothole damage, and faded paint.
At least this one has all four same tires all around. Scratches here and there.
Sunroof. At this stage of the investigation, you simply want to verify that all windows are closed tight and properly.
This one does have a sunroof. It feels alright. Good shape.
Engine. This is the non-turbo 2-liter 4-cylinder transverse engine. All you need to know about that engine is that access to parts all around is very restricted, which means that it's usually a bit more expensive to maintain
Much
it.
cleaner.
By experience, I also found out that on this car, you have to lower the engine simply to replace the starter. And that, I believe, is a first in the overall car industry. Anyway, back to this car. First of all, check the oil level. Once that's done, start it up and listen. Ideally, a cold start is the best way for checking an engine. If it's too rough, you know it's usually packing a good of mileage. Now, have you noticed something odd? You may be not able to hear it, but as soon as I started the engine up from cold, it immediately turned the radiator fan on. Now, usually and especially when the car is cold, the radiator fan doesn't operate until he receives a signal from the thermostat, which only activates when the engine is warm enough. So I'm thinking somebody may have tampered with the radiator fan control unit in order to make it run as soon as the car starts up. The reason being that the car may have overheating problems, and by leaving the radiator fan on all the time, you help keep the engine cool enough at least to be able to sell the car. But on a long-term drive, the car will eventually stall on you. Anyway, we're going to leave it running and come back later to check up on it. Exhaust gas color. Meanwhile, check the colored gas coming out of the exhaust. Is there any oil as well? Oil leak. While the engine is running, check for any oil leak under engine bay.
Alright, so we're back to see if the car has some overheating problem. Alright, so there's that sign which indicates overheating, which confirms there is a problem with the radiator system.
Interior, steering wheel, seats, and main condition. Look for any unusual wear and tear on the steering wheel, seats, switches. Any unusual condition could be caused by excessive use, which should indicate a relatively high mileage. All windows and sunroof. Check if all windows are working properly. Open them up, close them down.
This sunroof can be very costly if something go wrong with it, so you really want to check it right, make sure seems in good order. It seems good. Good condition.
Windshield wipers. Don't forget to check if windshield wipers show any malfunction. Test drive. Finally, if you can, you must take it for a test drive. I would suggest to drive it in city roads until it heats up, then take it on the highway. Turn off the radio. I'm sure it will be on because usually owners don't want you to listen to the car, so turn the radio off and ask the owner to be quiet. You just want to focus. Mileage. After going through the smart chart thoroughly, you really should begin to have an idea on the actual mileage of the car, so check it out at the very end of your investigation. If the shown number makes you uncomfortable, walk away or try and get the best deal as fairly possible. Meanwhile, while you're checking for mileage, check and see if any cluster lights are on. They would indicate needed maintenance.
Alright, already this car, there is the SRS light in the dashboard, which means something might be wrong with the airbag system all around the car.
By the way, also here's a 2008 B200 for sale at an auction. It features some shocking discoveries. If you never were shocked shopping for a car, you will be in here. This was a Benz B200 2010 for sale at an auction. Thank you for watching and shop carefully.